Yo! Welcome to some Kinstretch focusing on your shoulders, specifically some of the big, strong muscles that attach to your shoulders on the front and the back side. Just a note, this is not a beginner class in the sense that we're going to be putting some serious tension through your shoulder joint. So if you're feeling a little cranky in the shoulder or you know you have some rotational deficits, probably want to start with a different class or work on a different class. In terms of props, we won't need a whole lot today other than like a pillow or a yoga block for under your head when we're doing some side lying work. And then just some nice open floor space. And with that, we'll just dive right in. All right, so to get started, we're going to try to use our breath to make sure that the shoulders and shoulder blades are as positioned as ideally as possible. So for this, you'll come into a child's pose type position. And I'm going to have Max just turn to the side so that they can see your back a little bit. And when you get set up into this position, just check first that your knees or ankles are not barking at you, because this is not the focus of the drill, so you don't want to be distracted by that. If they were distracting, you could just come up into a little bit of a quadruped position and just sit your hips back as much as felt safe. Okay? Once you find that, set your elbows on the ground right in front of your knees and go palms down. That's a little detail that can help. And then from here, push the earth away from you to feel your shoulder blades slide off the side of your rib cage, and try to really sense the muscles that wrap around your rib cage to move those shoulder blades forward. Okay? As you're getting a feel for that press with the shoulder blades and the arms, just check in on your neck and make sure you're not overusing tension here. You will need some so that your head doesn't collapse down, but you don't want to overly tense your shoulders just to push the arms forward. Okay, now continue holding this press and start blowing the air out of your body like you're blowing out birthday candles in front of you. As you do, not letting that press with the arms go. Then keep that press as you inhale through your nose, trying to inflate your back, and then keep that height of your spine as you again blow the air out, not letting your spine collapse. Okay, keep working on this, fully exhaling and then calmly inhaling through the nose. Both the inhale and the exhale should help you reach your spine more towards the ceiling. Or I could just say the opposite, help you push your arms more into the ground. Good. Give me another breath. And let that go. Okay, just come upright for a moment, kind of shake things out, and we'll come back for another round. So one note here, that the breathing into the back can be such a key if that's new for you, and it might start to unlock a little bit of flexion, a little bit of that spinal rounding. Okay, so for this next rep, as you get set up, I want you to bias a little bit of that rounding. So come back into your hands on the floor position, elbows in front of knees, and then before you start this time, round your spine up to the sky a little bit. Good, and then add to that press with the shoulder blades. Good. And then imagine this is a car tire, okay? We're going to try to inflate that car tire with air to inhale through the nose, and then keep that height as you blow the air out and keep pushing the ground away. Good, so you're not losing any of that shape. And then again, inhale, trying to send your spine even more towards the sky, and then keep that as you exhale and continue pushing the ground away. Good. As you go, you should start to feel some serious fatigue of those muscles wrapping around the sides of your rib cage, underneath your armpits. And if you don't feel that area, you're just continuing to check in on that spot, continuing to ask your elbows and hands to be heavy, and continuing to try to hold your spine as close to the ceiling as you can. Last 10 seconds here. Good. And let that go. All right. We'll leave that for now. And now come up to a full quadruped position. And then palms flat on the ground. You can turn your fingers out if your wrists feel better that way. And then take a moment to really brace your body, asking your left hand to get heavier than your right hand, so that as we peel this right hand off the ground, nothing shifts in your torso. We're going to reach that arm right out to the side, make a nice tight fist. Okay? Now feel that your body stays completely still and braced as we just twist the arm into external rotation, trying to rotate like you're trying to reach your thumb to point behind you and up to the sky. and then rotate as far as you can the other way, not allowing your shoulder blade or torso to move at all. Keep going back and forth, and use this as a moment to really turn up your awareness of this particular shoulder joint. Really finding what muscles control and create that rotation, and also what muscles have to work to create stability for that shoulder. Keep working. 3, 2, 1, and relax it. Good. Give yourself a little break. We're going to do the same dealio on the other side. All right. Go ahead, set up into quadruped. And this moment of making your right hand heavier than your left is key to really feel what needs to turn on in your torso. And then reach your left arm out to the side. Take a look and make sure it's not accidentally reaching behind you, but it's straight out to the side. And then a nice tight fist. Start to rotate so your thumb moves towards the sky and then maybe behind you. And then rotate the other way, making sure your shoulder blade and neck stay pretty chill. So we're not shrugging that shoulder blade up to the ear as you internally rotate. Keep going back and forth, moving by feel, and making your top priority to be the non-moving parts of your body, keeping those areas still. Only if that's happening do we have a chance to really engage complete rotational control on the moving part of your body. Keep breathing around a braced torso for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Great. Always amazing to me how heavy just the weight of your arm can feel when it's all the way out to the side. All right, so good work. We're now going to just try to clear a little bit more space in the actual shoulder joint, and we need to do that with some rotational training. Usually we do that one arm at a time, but for today, for kind of efficiency's sake, we're going to introduce a new position for this where we're doing both shoulders at the same time. So to feel that, you're going to want to choose any upright torso position that works. Max is showing tall kneeling, but you could be standing or even seated. And then link your fingers together so palms are towards the ground. Yep, nice. And then your elbows are bent to about 90 degrees, okay? And you can maybe start with them right in front of your chest and feel a few reps of lowering your hands down and noticing that as you do, that's the result of your shoulder joints twisting, okay? And then just back it off and try again. And note that if one side could twist more than the other, that's okay. We just can kind of find that if we're going by feel. Okay, one side twisting more than the other. But if both sides can really twist, you're thinking of getting your hands lower and your elbows closer together. Okay, so go ahead and settle into your maximum range position here, making sure your shoulder blades aren't shrugging up to your ears. And then very lightly at first, start feeling your knuckles push into each other, but specifically because you're trying to unwind your arms, but you're not letting movement happen. You're not letting your elbows drop, you're not letting your shoulder blades move, but you're feeling more and more rotational effort. Up to about 30 or 40% only is fine. And then sustain that effort. Hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2. Now keep that effort going and switch to trying to rotate more into internal rotation. Once you feel that effort clear, you can sort of test yourself and turn your hands into 2 fists, and maybe your knuckles are able to sneak apart from each other, and we're now really focusing on that rails contraction for internal rotation. Hold this for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax it. Go ahead, let it go and shake it out. Let's just get one more input there so that you can really try to link it up. The second round is always more clear, okay? So fingers interlock. Start to push the hands together, which will bias that rotation in the shoulder joints. Yeah, and Max is sort of feeling, I can tell, the higher the elbows get, the more leverage you'll actually be able to get. The lower the elbows get, you can still get some rotation, but you have much less leverage that way. Okay. Now settle in, brace your body so nothing's going to move, and start engaging the pales contraction. That's the effort of like you're trying to unwind from this rotated position, but your hands are blocking each other. ramp it up through 10%, 20%, 30%, and if it's feeling safe and strong, build it up to 40% effort and hold it there. So this should feel like you have plenty of room to grow with that intensity and you're just keeping it at 40. A few more seconds, letting this signal get across to your capsule tissue. And now keep your body position, keep your brace, and shift over to the rails contraction, trying to internally rotate both shoulders more. And now finally, close both hands into fists and see if you can reach your knuckles apart. Because of rotation and not any other motion, hold it. Can you cramp some muscles under your armpits, maybe in your chest, and maybe feeling it all the way down the side of your torso for 3, 2, 1, and relax that effort. Good. Max is shaking like a leaf over here just for those internal rotation efforts. So just one note, the cramp part of that rails is very challenging to feel. It probably took me like 8 months of doing these to really find it. But when you do, it's a very weird and specific sensation. So just note it. I'm curious, did you feel any cramping going on?
No, but I felt lots.
Okay. Lats on the side. Yeah, that's great stuff. Good. Okay. So now let's put those shoulders into play here and work on our first position. We call this a floor smash position. So you're going to want to pick a piece of floor that you're not uncomfortable putting your face down on. Let's do the left arm first. Is going to reach out to the side. And with that arm a little bit higher than your shoulder, so it's almost like a little bit of a Y position, you're then going to bend your opposite leg, knee, bend that right knee. Use your right arm as well, and you can just put your face on the floor or on a little pillow. And the more you twist, because the arm is fixed on the ground, the more stretch you'll find across the chest and the shoulder. Okay? Now, I want you to just see a variation to fine-tune this stretch. So Max, come out of it for a moment. Bring this hand up into more of a Y position. There we go. Okay? And then take another rotation and just feel it out. Okay? I really encourage you to do that a few times in order to find the juiciest line of stretch into your chest. Because oftentimes if the arm is too low, you will just feel it on the front of the shoulder joint, and we don't want that. We want to take up as much of this big pec tissue as possible. Okay? You feeling your pec, Max? Okay, great. So as you settle into this shape now, you can go just off of my voice cues. You don't need to see the camera, or see the screen, I mean. Start lightly pushing your fingertips into the ground and feel that line of stretch activate, turn on, build tension. Then add fingertips plus palm now. And then continue adding maybe your forearm and your bicep. So you're focusing on just engaging more tissue because you're trying to work with a longer lever. And then finally, ask that arm to get so heavy that it's actually trying to roll you back onto your front, but the rest of your body is set up to block that effort. And ramp up this pails up to a nice strong, maybe 80% contraction. Breathing, but feeling that pressure maintained. Okay, feeling that whole front of the joint, front of the arm. Then keep your body still, keep this level of brace, and send the contraction now to the back of the body, the back of the arm, to try to make the arm light, but just know it will not lift off the ground from here. So you're just trying to feel as much contraction in the back of the armpit, back of the arm, back of the back by your shoulder blade as possible. For 5, 4, 3, 2, stay in position and just slowly ramp this effort down. Okay, nice and chill. Okay, go ahead and if you need to readjust your positioning or change the angle of your arm, you can. We're going to do a second rep here on this same side. And as we do, we'll do the pails the same, but the rails effort, you're actually going to create some space off the floor, okay, under that arm. And I'll walk you through that. All right, so round 2 of 2 for this arm. Brace your body. Start gradually asking those fingertips to get heavier and heavier. And then also the whole rest of the arm, the palm, forearm, and bicep. And then specifically feeling where that pec maybe attaches on your sternum and engaging all of that tissue from sternum to fingertip up to now your greatest safe effort. Breathing around all that intensity. 3, 2, 1. Now shift the contraction to the other side of the joint, feeling the back of the body pull you into that stretch. Keep that happening and slowly turn your chest back to the floor until your hand is off the ground and park it there. Hold that arm off the ground, maybe floating it, maybe shaking it for 5, 4, more back of the arm, more back of the shoulder, 2, 1, slow motion fade and relax. Beautiful, okay? Go ahead and relax, come out of this, come onto the other side. Now I just want to mention neither Max or I have very much chest tissue to work with, but that would absolutely change the setup that you would need to find. So if you have any questions about that, I'd be happy to brainstorm and work through with you. Maybe a pillow under your head or maybe a pillow under your ribs could buy you a little more space so that you can actually get this stretch where it's intended across the arm and the chest. Okay, so go ahead and reach that arm out to the side. Take a moment to make sure you're in that little bit of a Y position. And then if you felt like, a slightly different rotation of the shoulder or position of the shoulder blade felt better, you could definitely ease into that shape. And then it's the opposite knee and the left arm that's helping turn your torso in order to pull this tissue into stretch. Just take a moment to stretch here. I'll be honest, this is one of my favorite just stretches, passive stretches. Something about the ground feels very grounding for my nervous system to really relax this area of the body, which can get super tight. Final breath, and then brace your torso. Okay, so the arms and the legs are on, even though nothing's moving. And then gradually start making your fingertips on this right stretching arm a little bit heavier. Fingertips add now to palm pressure, forearm pressure, bicep pressure. Continue ramping up that pales contraction through 50% and maybe up to about 80% effort, which should definitely be a level of intensity where the rest of your body is pulled into the effort. Keep that sustained for 5, 4, 3, 2. Now keeping your brace and keeping your body position, shift the contraction to the back side of the joint as if you're trying to lighten the hand on the ground, but knowing that it won't lift. And use all of this contraction feel to feel like you're pulling yourself deeper into a chest stretch. This is your rails contraction. Hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Relax. And make any adjustments or take any break that you need. Again, you could change the angle of the arm slightly, shift your position, or support yourself differently. And then we're going to do another set of pails and then go right into our passive range hold where we actually turn the body to get the hand off the ground. So start here again, braced, light pressure through the fingertips to begin your pails. And then as you shift your focus to the palm, forearm, and bicep, feel that the intensity of the pails contraction increases because you're pulling in more and more fibers. And really imagine that you're leaving an indent under your whole arm on the ground. Ramp this up now to your greatest safe feeling effort. Taking care to go slowly so you can pause if anything starts to feel unsafe. Hold it here. 3, 2, 1. Use all this intensity now to train the back of the joint as if you're pulling yourself deeper into that stretch. And then keep that effort on as you slowly rotate your chest towards the floor until your hand comes off the ground and then you pause. Hold it here. Trying to feel that the muscles on the back of the arm are working as hard as possible for 5, 4, 3, pulling you into that chest stretch, 2, 1, and a slow motion fade. Yes, okay. Now peel yourself off of the floor And just take your time, because anytime we're doing high intensity isometrics, you know, you can feel a little lightheaded or the joints can feel a little bit wonky. So give yourself that time and space to kind of come back to movement. All right, so now we're going to train the other angle or the other side of the joint into shoulder adduction. For this, you're going to come into a side lying position. Maybe throw a pillow or a block under your head so that you feel nice and comfortable. Okay, so we'll do this left arm first. So you're laying on your left side, that left arm out in front of you. And take a moment to feel your shoulder blade pull down away from your ear. And it can be nice to kind of fill in that space with the block if it works. So you kind of don't let your shoulder blade come up into the neck at all. Okay? Now from here, take another moment to try to slide that arm towards you so the shoulder blade comes back onto your back any more that you can. And then we're hunting for our end range position by slowly rolling the torso over so the chest is slowly turning towards that arm. Okay? The goal would be to feel a stretch on the back side of the shoulder, kind of where your arm meets your body, but just know you might not find a stretch there. It's kind of a weird angle to stretch. But the work of this drill is actually going to come when we add these isometrics. Okay? For this first isometric, let's do some pails for this position to really help you feel it. Keeping your body braced and still, start making that left arm slightly heavier into the ground, knuckles first, and then add knuckles, also elbow, and then knuckles, elbow, and the whole back of the upper arm, until you finally feel that that arm is trying to roll you back onto your back, and the rest of your body has to work to keep your position still for 5, 4, 3, 2, and slowly ramp that effort down. Okay? Now once you've done that pails, you might be able to micro adjust your way into a more clear stretch on the back of the shoulder joint. If you can, take it up. Take up that slack. Okay, now we train the rails contraction, but we're going to use it to get the arm off the ground a little bit. Okay, so brace your body again. Start asking for or focusing on the upper arm, pulling closer towards your sternum. Notice I didn't say the hand because I don't want that elbow to bend. I just want that upper arm focus. Once you feel your chest tissue turn on, which would pull that upper arm towards you, keep that on. Use your other arm to slowly push until your elbow's off the ground, and then hold it there. This should feel like a near maximum contraction for that corner of your front of your shoulder. For 5, 4, 3, 2, keep your body angle and just let that arm float down to the ground. Good. And let's just get one more passive range hold here. So roll all the way over, maybe finding more stretch. And then once you think you're at your end range position, start asking that upper arm to pull in towards your chest, not letting anything else move. Once you clearly feel your chest tissue working, keep it on as you slowly turn your torso towards the sky, just enough to get your elbow off the ground. Park it there and fight for more contraction. Can you cramp that area where your arm meets your chest? For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Bueno. All right, so that's enough for that arm. Let's switch over to the other side. Very weird corner of the shoulder to train, but you'll notice that anytime we do shoulder CARs, we ask you to explore that range by cutting your arm across your body. So this would be a way to isometrically improve that position. All right, so setting up again, inside lying, take a moment to pull that shoulder blade back onto your rib cage, meaning the arm will slide towards you a bit. And then once you think you're there, start turning your torso towards the floor just until you find a little stretch across the back of your shoulder. Okay? Now this hip position is working for Max, and that's fine, but if a different angle for your legs worked better, please take it. You're welcome to change that angle. Okay? Now from this stretch, or maybe you don't feel a stretch, but it feels like end range, let's give a little pails contraction, feeling your knuckles get slightly heavier into the ground. And then your elbow joins your knuckles, pressuring into the floor. And then your whole upper arm is starting to really push into the floor as well. Trying to feel contraction happening on the back of the shoulder, which is now in a lengthened position. Ramp this up to your greatest safe pales effort. 3, 2, 1, and slowly relax that effort. When you do, you might clearly feel the stretch now, or you might feel like you could know how to get that stretch by turning further. That's part of the beauty of the pales contractions. They really just illuminate the lengthened part of a joint. All right, so now working at what feels more clear to you as end range, let's do our 2 passive range holds. So now we're going to brace the body and feel that upper arm try to pull in towards your chest, although nothing will probably move yet. And then keep that contraction. Slowly turn your torso towards the sky, just enough to get the elbow off the ground, and then park yourself there. Send as much contraction into your corner of your arm and chest area for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Relax it down. Good. Nice. Now notice how Max is using this top arm to kind of control his roll. That's because I don't want him to just roll onto his back, because then the arm would be able to come way off the floor. So we want to find that zone, yeah, where you can just barely get your elbow off the ground. Okay, let's do our second passive range hold. Roll forward to find what feels like a stretched end range position. Then start asking that upper arm, that bicep, to pull in towards your chest. You also might think of pulling your chest towards your arm, and that might engage a little differently. And then once you feel that contraction, slowly push yourself away from the floor to turn and bring that arm with you to find a near maximum contraction for all this shortened tissue on the front side of the shoulder joint. Try to cramp it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Melt away that contraction. And take a breath to go ahead, come out of this position and meet us in quadruped. All right, so now in quadruped, we're just going to retest or retrain those shoulder capsule rotations to feel any changes in the joint. So find a good brace, make your left hand heavier than your right, and then once you feel stable, reach your right arm straight out to the side and really ask that chest to open up. Okay, so just try to open up your right chest, and then making a nice tight fist, rotate the arm into external rotation so the thumb goes up and back, and then explore as much internal rotation as you can. Good. And hopefully, because we did this at the beginning, it feels familiar, but it also feels maybe a little bit different in sensation that you're aware of. Maybe you can find more twist. Maybe you feel more area around the joint contributing. All of that is good stuff. Remember to keep that neck as relaxed as possible. Trying to keep that angle of your arm for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Okay, set that arm down. Make any mental notes about what's changed or different on that right side. And then let's do the same thing on the left. So nice strong pressure through the right arm. Left arm reaches out to the side. Nice tight fist and an open chest feeling. And then start externally rotating. Thumb pointing up to the sky and then behind you. And then going the other way. Twisting the arm bone and specifically twisting that upper arm bone right in the shoulder socket. So anything on the body side of that shoulder should be still and actively still. So you're preventing anything from moving along with the arm. Good. Trying to wring out more twist of that moving joint, moving part of the body. Keep chipping away, more rotation. Just a few more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Excellent work. And melt that down. Okay? Now we're going to do one more piece from quadruped just to really feel into the rotation of the joint. Most of the rotation that we do in the shoulder is what we'd call open chain, meaning your hand is not connected to the floor, but presumably the rest of your body is connected to the floor and your arms moving free. In quadruped, our hands are connected to the floor, so we call this a closed chain exercise. An open chain and closed chain demand something very different from your brain. So it's worthwhile to try to train both positions. So now make your way back into quadruped, and we're going to do more rotation of the shoulder, but with the hands in a fixed position. Okay, so starting here, just push the ground away, active through the shoulder blades, and then keeping your palms planted and really gripping the floor with your fingertips, try to rotate your elbow pits forward or even out to the side on both arms. So said another way, your biceps are rolling away from your body. Okay? Now keep that position on your left side, but try to rotate your elbow pit as far into the other direction as you can on the right, and then bring it on back to externally rotated. Hold it there. Show me rotation on the left. Internally twisting, and then externally twisting, and then go back to the right. So you're alternating arms, and really the idea here is that you're finding what is available for twist of the shoulder without your neck getting involved, without your scapula moving. Okay? Just about 10 more seconds. You might also notice that this is demanding some twisting of your wrist joint, which can be a little bit of a different experience than we're used to when we work the shoulders. And relax. Awesome. Go ahead, let that go. Give those wrists a quick break, okay? Now this is a pretty wrist intensive class, so if you're noticing your wrists, you might take note of that and get some Kinstretch in for your wrist to really help those joints. I'm going to show this next drill real quick, which is a twisting bear drill, where we're going to use this quadruped and link it up with some rotation. So you'll, in a moment, lift your knees, rotate to the side, and bring your leg through, noticing that I brought my leg under my body, and then pushing the ground away to get into that open position we were training on the floor. Then we would come back to quadruped, moving the leg under the body, and continue working the other direction. Now, if your wrists are really not game for that, if they're really not feeling good, I'll just have you work instead from the side and working to reach your arm to the sky and then coming back down here. Okay, and that'll be fine. And we'll do one set on one arm, and then you'll do the other set on the other arm. Okay? So if you are doing twisting bear, come into quadruped here. If you're doing the side frame position, come onto your left elbow. Okay? I'm going to focus on this quadruped position first. So lift those knees off the ground and go ahead and start turning your body to the right, meaning your left arm is going to take your body weight and your left leg is going to sneak underneath. Try to get both feet flat on the ground and then push the earth away with your left arm. Lift your hips as high as you can and pause for a quick break, and then drop your hips down. Drag your left leg underneath you and find a nice square quadruped position. Go ahead, plant your right arm, start turning to the left to drag your right leg underneath you. Both feet plant, push the earth away, try to lift your hips as high as you can, and then back down. Good. Keep alternating sides, just another 15 seconds. Really noticing how you're able to engage some of that tissue that we were training isometrically in this class, but now in a moving dynamic context. If you notice both feet are trying to move, that's okay, but the goal would be that only one foot changes position as you go from this twisted shape back to quadruped, and set your knees down. Relax. Good. Okay, give those wrists a break. If you're working on your side frame position, you can come up and take a breather. We're going to do another set of twisting bear, and those of you who are on side frame, go ahead, come onto your right forearm. Okay. Final set here. Find that quadruped. Find that strong pressure with your hands. And now this time, let's start by turning to the left. Okay, so you push the ground away with your right arm, right foot moves. Use both feet to lift your hips maybe a little higher, but you're keeping your chest open, and then back to the other side. Max is doing a great job of moving smooth, making sure he can keep breathing. No need to move quickly through this or really to use momentum at all. If you notice that that's happening, just really slow it down and get into the active effort of pushing your arm into the floor, which gives your shoulder a clear signal of how to stabilize. We want to push and open that joint up. 10 more seconds, y'all. Breathing and working on this super demanding gymnastics drill. And 3, 2, 1, and relax back down. All right, very nice work. Gotten some good training in for the biggest muscles of our shoulders. Let me know if you have any questions, because there are some weird new positions in there. And either way, hope you have a great rest of your day.